Admittedly, I don't really want to be a novice, but F-Zero GX is a hard game, so I think we're gonna have to play on some easy difficulties here. Um, to be honest, I have never played this game before. I just know that it kind of has a reputation for being a difficult game. You know, it's kind of like the Melee of racing games. Apparently, according to some people who know the game better than I do. Um, I've got some settings here. I can pick acceleration or max speed. I think we'll just. It doesn't really seem to make a huge difference, honestly. Like, yeah, the acceleration kind of curves a bit, but I mean, having it in the middle seems pretty reasonable to me. So we'll just go with that. Um, But this is like the. I've played F-Zero on the SNES, but this is like the game that people know Captain Falcon from, and it's not because people didn't play F-Zero. It's because this game is very well loved, um, very well loved in very many, um, you know, communities. But you know, having never played it, it's you know, I feel like I don't know necessarily what all the buttons do, but this feels fine. I'm just kind of holding A and I'm kind of just going in a straight line, but this feels pretty good. I gotta collect all of these orange things. So let me tell you a story about this game and kind of the closest relationship with this game that I have, which, you know, doesn't say much. I So as you know, well, as you should know, and if you don't know this, then you haven't been watching every video loyally, which, you know, I'm a big advocate for watching every video on this channel, because if you don't watch them all, then you don't know what you're missing out on, really. You might be missing deep lore, like the facts I'm about to tell you now. Okay, so I speedrun this game called Ben 10 Power Trip, and I went to a UK speedrunning event, a marathon called UKSG, and I played Ben 10 Power Trip there. And I don't think I've ever told the full story of that on this channel, so I guess I'll tell it now. Um, I spent the summer of 2023 basically not entirely playing this game. Obviously, I was doing other things as well. Have I just selected the same mission again? Because it just said get all the capsules. I mean, we can try and beat my time. Yeah, this is the same mission again. I'll try and beat my time, it's fine. Um, but yeah, I spent like the entire summer playing this game. Not necessarily, you know, it wasn't the only thing I did, but it was a major part. I got the world record down from, I think, when I started. So when I first played the game, world record was like 1 hour 24 minutes, and I got it down to 1 hour 17, and then I was like, okay, you know, I'm kind of happy with this. But over the course of this summer, I came back to the game and I was like, okay, you know, we can definitely like do better than that. So, you know, let's see how far I can kind of push this record. And over the course of that summer, I got it from around that hour 17. I did my first run back and it was an hour 15. And I got it to an hour and 2 minutes and some seconds. Okay, this is going poorly because I've run out of time. I think I'm playing on hard mode now, so it's more difficult. But yeah, well, we'll just keep playing. I think I can do it better. I just need to go faster than that, basically, and then we'll be fine. And so I was thinking, okay, you know, I've pushed this game quite a lot, and I feel very confident in my skills with it. I would really love to play it in a marathon. And, you know, online marathons are cool, But the IRL marathons are like, I like going to events and stuff. You know, I play Smash Brothers because I like going and talking to people and meeting new people. And so I was like, okay, I've got to go to one of these like UK events, right? And it just so happens there was this one coming up called UKSG Blue. There's like 3 events a year, red, green, and blue, and and this event was coming up. So I was like, okay, cool. This is like awesome. I can okay. I figured out how to use the boost thing. I should probably be using that. I was like, okay, I'll enter this game into the marathon. You know, I'll give it my shot. See if I can get accepted for the marathon. And they did accept me. And I was like, okay, so here's the problem. Can't really afford a hotel, and I don't live anywhere near to where this event was. This event was in Glasgow, and I don't live in Glasgow. So I was like, okay, well, how am I going to do this? They've slotted me for 7 a.m. And you're probably wondering, Lily, why did you make your availability 7 a.m. if you can't afford a hotel? And the truth is, I made my availability as wide as possible because I really wanted to get accepted, and I was willing to figure it out. You know, if they put me in the middle of the night, I'd figure it out. And that's basically what they ended up doing. They put me at 7 a.m. And because, you know, marathons never run on time, it did end up being at like 8 a.m. that I played the game. You know, it was like an hour behind, but I came in under time, so, you know, they owe me for that one. But yeah, okay, so how did I resolve this situation? Like, I don't have a hotel, and I've got to play this game at 7 a.m. And so, you know, naturally, I show up at 7 p.m. The day before, and I just stay there because the marathon went all throughout the night. It was a 24-hour kind of deal. So, yeah, I just stayed up all night, and I watched some people at the marathon. I talked to some people, and I had a good fucking time, right? And one of the people I met there, don't remember what game they speedrun, if they did speedrun anything at the marathon. Don't remember. It's been a good while since all this happened. It's been like what? It's been a while because it was in September, so it's been a minute. Okay, this is clearly not working out. So, you know, it's been a while since this happened, so I don't remember. But one of the persons I talked to at this marathon, they were good at F-Zero GX because they had like consoles set up at the back of this marathon room. So while people were speedrunning games, you could practice your game, or you could just, you know, like kind of hang out and game. And so, you know, it was past midnight at this point. I'm like, okay, well, I'm gonna go talk to the people at the back of the room because, you know, I think it will be a lot easier for me to stay awake if I'm playing a game instead of just like watching people play a game. So I enjoyed watching, I think, like Metal Gear and stuff. Some people were speedrunning. They had like a Metal Gear block, and I thought that was pretty fun. But I was like, okay, I can't give my full attention to this anymore, or I will fall asleep. And I drank a lot of coffee throughout the night to try and stay awake and stuff. But you know, no matter what, it was always going to be a challenge. It was always going to be a challenge to stay awake. And yeah, so they had this like modded out. This is actually the coolest part. There was this like tricked out GameCube console with, you know, it loaded a bunch of games from an SD card, and there was so many games. I mean, we played Melee. It was like 20XX, so I think it had UCF, but I didn't have. I did bring my own controller, but I wasn't really sure of like anything, so I don't remember if this version had UCF or not, but it didn't have Frozen. I mean, it did have Frozen Stadium, but it also didn't. It had, because it's 20XX, so it had the the blue Pokemon Stadium was frozen and the normal one was not. It was kind of awesome because, like, I really like Melee, and, you know, just playing it casually with a bunch of people who don't really play Melee is, like, it's a lot of fun because there's no pressure to, like, only play, like, competitive stages and stuff. And I always say, like, Melee's a super fun casual game as well. It's not just a, it's not just a competitive game. And so, yeah, we played a bunch of games. We played, like, Worms 3D, which I had never played before. I'm a big fan of Worms. I had it on my DS. I played, like, Worms Armageddon and stuff. But I had never played the 3D Worms. It was pretty awesome. I gotta be honest. It was one of the highlights. Was playing Worms 3D. And yeah, you know, if you want to see my run, this is kind of if you want to see my run, you can just type in, like, UKSG Ben 10 Power Trip. Or you can go on my main channel, Melonkeeper /@Tokobot on YouTube. If you take a look at my main channel, I uploaded the VOD from the marathon, so you can go watch it there if you're interested. I'm pretty proud of it. It's a really good run. But yeah, like, this person I was talking to was just, like, playing F-Zero, because, you know, I didn't, like, you know, it was like 4 a.m. so, like, not many people were there to, like, play the multiplayer games, and they're like, oh, I want to play F-Zero. I was like, go ahead, like, show me some shit. And they were just playing through the story mode on, like, hard mode, and they were like, oh yeah, this stuff, like, super hard, and, you know, I see it now because I'm playing the first level on hard mode and I'm not able to beat it. Like, yeah, this stuff's really hard. Like, I used to speedrun this game and now I'm not, like, as good anymore. So we're taking a couple tries, but I'm, like, still super impressed. I'm like, dude, you're erasing through this whole thing, like, super quickly for someone who's claiming to not be very good at it, you know? And they're like, yeah, I mean, you know, it is what it is. And it's like, yeah, I guess that makes sense. Like, it's more incredible to me as someone, first of all, who hasn't played it, second of all, who hasn't speedrun it, compared to someone who's obviously speedrun the game a lot. But I was impressed nonetheless. So that's my, like, F-Zero exposure story. I had never really seen the game. I mean, I'd heard of F-Zero GX. I'd never really played it, or, I mean, I still didn't play it that time, but, like, I had never really, like, interacted with F-Zero before, F-Zero GX at least. I had played, it feels like I should be able to move left and right fast. I'm using, like, L and R to move left and right. It feels like I should be able to, like, pivot faster. You know how in, like, Sonic you can kind of, like, sidestep? It feels so if I lean into the turn and then I press RL, then it feels like I can get some serious, like, horizontal distance, but I don't know. But this is, like, a tricky game. I mean, I'm enjoying it. Like, I think it controls well, but, like, obviously, as someone who's not really played it before, like, I'm not getting it. Like, I'm enjoying playing it, but I don't really get it, right? Like, the same way, like, if you play Melee for 15 minutes, you don't really get it. Like, you might find it fun, but you don't really get it. Like, I don't get this game yet. I'm gonna stop trying to play hard mode because I'm not really getting anywhere. I think you need, like, points to advance. I think this is something I remember being explained to me. You need, like, points to advance in the story mode or something. I don't really remember. But you can do it by playing Grand Prix, or you can do it, yeah, F-Zero Shop. It's not in here, but I don't know. You can, like, buy machines and stuff. I feel like, yeah, you've got to, like, maybe it's in items. It's probably not in items. No, it is. Chapter 2 is in items. So you see I need 20 tickets, but I've only got 15. If you play hard mode, you get enough tickets. But I'm pretty sure if I play easy mode again, I'm not going to get the tickets again. Like, you need to beat it. I'll try playing normal again, but I feel like I need to, you know, I need to beat hard mode, or I need to play Grand Prix to get points. But I do want to try playing this just so I can show that I'm not, you know, I'm not bad at the game. Hard mode's just really hard, right? So if I beat it, you know, like this, then it's fine. But yeah, so that was my experience with F-Zero GX, and the rest of the marathon was awesome. I started playing at like 7:40 or something. Despite being extremely tired, as soon as the game started, it's like I was wide awake again. I mean, it was incredible. I don't think I've really had that experience very much before. I will say there's a couple other times where, like, you know, if I stay up all night because of like you know, like university or something, then maybe I'll get like a second wind when I need to like actually, I don't know, do something. It is possible that could happen, but to be honest, I don't really remember that happening very much. I just thought it was kind of incredible that I was still able to lock in. I completely expected like not to get that good of a time, but I ended up getting a 103 or something. It was like a really good run, and yeah, I was pretty proud of it. I basically immediately left after doing my run because I had to get the next train or I'd be stuck there for like an extra hour, and I don't think I could have survived that extra hour because, to be honest, I did fall asleep on the train, and luckily managed to wake up before luckily managed to wake up before my stop, but I did fall asleep on that train. I was absolutely shattered. Um, and this whole thing was the weekend after I went back to uni, because it was in September, which is like the time of year that I go back to uni. So I went back to university, and then the exact weekend that happened, I did this marathon, which absolutely crushed my sleep schedule, and I did manage to recover from that, but that was tough, right? That was not easy. But there we go. We got sub-minute on the first level of F-Zero GX. Let's go. But yeah, playing speed games in marathons is like really cool, and I was pretty happy that I did it, because it is one of those things where, like, yeah, I mean, you can go to as many like events as you want, but like going to a completely new group of people, no matter what, is always like, it's always, you know, stepping out of your comfort zone a little. So yeah, I've still got 15 tickets, so I gotta play Grand Prix, I guess, but that's fine. We'll just do that. We'll go on standard. I feel like my racing skills are not that bad. We'll play the Ruby Cup, and I've heard that the Blue Falcon's not actually that good. So yeah, let's try the Fire Stingray. That's Samurai Goro's thing, and I know Samurai Goro from Smash Brothers, so I feel like I kind of trust him. I know that guy. He's like an assist trophy or something. It's pretty cool. Um, so what was I gonna say? Yeah, it's always like, no matter what, it's always like stepping out of your comfort zone a little to meet like a whole new group of people and just say like, hey, I gotta play a video game or whatever. Like, you know, whatever it is, it always feels like there's a little bit of pressure to like make a good impression, I guess. I don't know. But to be honest, I think it all went over well. I really like enjoyed it, and I think I met some good people. I haven't really been back since then. I haven't been to any of the marathons that have happened since then, which I think was like red and green, and then blue will happen again this September. I don't know. I don't really follow. To be honest, I don't have another game to play, and like, I don't feel like I'm in the community enough to want to go to these events if I'm not running. And that's just like it's kind of an economic thing, because like, it's also like a time thing though, because these marathons take a lot of time to just like attend and be at and watch all the things, and it's like, you know, if I don't have a game to show off, like, I don't necessarily wanna go there because I don't know people that well, so it's like, I mean, I guess that's a reason to go is to get to know people, but yeah, I'll definitely go if I start running games again. I mean, it's not like I've given up on speedrunning. I just don't have any games that are like marathon games. You know, like I can't play Stranded Isle in marathon. It's too. It just doesn't fit that like vibe too well. Um. So yeah, if I have another like game that's suitable for marathon, then I'll definitely go back at some point. But right now, I've just been kind of hanging out, just been kind of like not speedrunning super long games or anything. And I do want to get back into it this summer. You know, I'll have more free time at some point. I'm kind of like, yeah, in theory I'll have more free time, but in practice, like, all of my free time is kind of allocated already. So it's like I still have free time, I'm just spending it like recording videos or like playing Smash Brothers and like going to events and stuff or like just hanging out with people. Like I'm often out of the house hanging out with people, which is cool. I enjoy it, but it does mean like it's hard to pick up a new speed game, you know. It's easy when you have a game that you're already playing. It's easy to play a game for like, you know, a couple hours if you have a couple hours free. But it really is like a multi-day commitment to try and learn a new game sometimes. And it depends, like maybe there's a lot of good resources, but the game's really complicated and that makes it take a long time. Or maybe there's like it's not that complicated, but there's no resources. Like when I started running Ben 10 Power Trip, there were no resources for the game. It was just I learned how to speedrun it based on okay, I've killed myself. I learned how to speedrun Ben 10 Power Trip based on watching the world record and just like replicating stuff. And that takes so much longer than just watching a guide. I made a guide for Ben 10 Power Trip, so if anyone's interested in speedrunning it, probably aren't because you know no one's ever heard of this game. But you know, on my channel, the Ben 10, there's a tutorial on main channel. It's pretty cool. Still a really sick game, but I would like to pick up a new game at some point. It's hard picking a game. There's like one game that I know I want to speedrun, and then there's like a bunch of games where I'm like maybe, and it's like I just haven't got around to it, right? Like it's a whole dilemma, but I know that like speedrunning has been some of the most fun that I've had, you know, playing video games. So I know that I have to go back to it. Like it's not really an if but a when for me. Like it's very very fun. So and like I do still speedrun. I've just been speedrunning Pico 8 games, which are much much shorter, obviously, all of them being only a few minutes long. Stranded Isle has been the main one, obviously, but hoping to get back on some real games, some games with some real meat on them, you know. So yeah, hopefully I get back to that with time. But I think it'll be good. But yeah, I mean, racing games like this is not something I would usually speedrun, but I did do time trials for Mario Kart 8. I remember, like, on Wii U, getting, I remember, like, doing time trials for I think it was the Triforce Cup, the one with, like, Wario Goldmine and what's it called? I genuinely can't remember. It was Wario Goldmine and then Ice Ice Outpost, or not that order. It was SNES Rainbow Road, Ice Ice Outpost, and then the Hyrule stage. I don't. It's really hard to stay alive in this game. Gonna be honest. I think I'll call the video there. But yeah, I've been enjoying these like GameCube games a lot more than the random fucking Steam games that I played for so long on this channel. These GameCube games are actually like good games.